Hey there! Today, we're going to take a quick tour of something you do all day, every day, without even thinking about it, making the sounds of English. We're going inside the human sound factory.
I mean, have you ever really stopped and thought about it? How do you do that? How does an idea in your head turn into actual sounds for words like extraordinary or even just high? It's a pretty incredible piece of biological engineering, and we're about to pull back the curtain to see how it all works.
So, every single sound you make, every word, starts with just one raw material, air from your lungs. That's it. It's the power source for the whole factory. This simple puff of air flowing outwards, which is really just a fancy way of saying breathing out, is the blank canvas for every sound you're about to create.
So what does the assembly line look like? Well, it's actually a super simple three-step process. First, you power on. Air gets pushed out of the lungs. Next, that air goes through the vibration station, which is your vocal cords, and finally, it gets to the shaping tools in your mouth and nose to get its final form. Let's go check out each stop on the tour.
Okay, our first stop is the vibration station, located deep in your throat. This is home to your vocal cords, and you can think of them as a simple on-off switch. This one little switch is responsible for the very first major difference between speech sounds.
And the way it works is incredibly simple. When that switch is off, your vocal cords are held wide apart, and the air just breezes right through. No vibration. We call those sounds voiceless. But when you flip the switch to on, those vocal cords pull close together, and the air has to force its way through, which makes them vibrate or buzz. And those sounds, you guessed it, they're voiced. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Let's try this right now. Go ahead and put your fingers gently on the front of your throat. Got it? Okay, first, make a long snake sound. Sss. Feel anything? Pretty still, right? Now, keep your hand right there and change that sound into a buzzing B. Zzz. Whoa, you feel that vibration? That buzz is voicing. You just literally turn the factory's vibration switch on yourself.
All right, so we figured out the vibration switch. Now we're heading to the main assembly floor. This is where consonants get made. And the one thing that defines any consonant is that we get in the way of that airflow. We use our toolkit, our lips, teeth, and tongue to block it somehow. Now, to describe any consonant sound, linguists use a simple three-part label. It's like a recipe with three key questions. And this isn't just academic stuff. This is the fundamental code that lets speech therapists do their jobs, and it's how engineers teach AI to understand you. The questions are always: 1, voicing. Is that buzz on or off? 2, place. Where exactly are we blocking the air? And 3, manner. How are we blocking it?
So let's break that down. Starting with place of articulation. This is all about where. Location, location, location. It's the specific spot in your mouth where you create that blockage.
For example, let's take a really easy one. Bilabial sounds. Bia means two, and labial means lips. So sounds made with both lips, like the sounds p and b. Go ahead, say pat and then bat. Feel how your lips press together for a split second at the beginning of those words? That right there, that's a bilabial place of articulation.
And now for the third and final label, manner of articulation. So if place was about where you block the air, manner is about how you do it. Do you stop the air completely, or do you just force it through a tiny narrow gap to make it hiss? What's the technique?
For instance, that p sound we just made has a manner called a plosive, or you can just call it a stop, because that's literally what happens. The air is stopped completely, and then it's released in a little puff or explosion. So if we put all three labels together for the sound p, we get voiceless, no buzz, bilabial, two lips, and plosive, a complete stop. Just like that, you have the exact blueprint for that sound, a perfect recipe.
So, we've built our consonants, but what about vowels? Well, the vowel department of our sound factory operates on a totally different principle. Instead of blocking the air, it's all about letting it flow free.
So here's the fundamental difference, the bottom line. Consonants mean blocked air. You're creating an obstruction. But with vowels, the airway is wide open. You don't block the sound at all. You just shape it. You change the size and shape of the inside of your mouth to create all those different vowel sounds.
So if it's not about blocking, then what is it about? It's pretty much all about where your tongue is. You can make every single vowel sound in English just by moving your tongue around in two directions, how high or low it is, and how far forward or back it is.
Let's feel this one too. Go ahead and say a long E sound, like in the word see. Notice where your tongue is. It's way up high and right at the front of your mouth. Now from there, just open up and say ah,
like you're at the doctor's office. You felt that, right? Your tongue just dropped way down and pulled all the way back. That simple movement is the entire secret to making vowels.
So, we've toured the whole factory. We've seen how we physically produce all these different sounds, and it's all pretty systematic, which leads to a huge question. If making the sounds is so logical, why is English spelling a complete and utter mess?
And this really hits the nail on the head. The problem is that the blueprints we use for writing, our alphabet, they just don't match the actual products coming out of our sound factory. The system for sounds and the system for letters are two very, very different things.
And this mismatch can get pretty dramatic. For example, just take that long E sound. Look at all the different ways we can spell that one single sound. E, EA, EO, EE, EI. It's the exact same product coming out of our factory, but the written blueprints are all over the place.
And this number really puts it all in perspective. In English, we have 24 distinct consonant sounds. Add to that about 20 different vowel sounds, and you've got over 40 unique products our sound factory can make. But we only have 26 letters in our alphabet to try and represent all of them. The math just was never going to work out.
And that's really the big takeaway here. English just has way more sounds than it has letters. The tour we've been on today was a tour of the sounds, all 40 plus of them. The alphabet is just the 26 symbols we try to use to write them down. They are not the same thing, and knowing that is the key to understanding both speech and spelling.
So that leaves us with one last thing to think about. If you were handed the keys and you could redesign English spelling to be perfectly logical, one sound gets one letter and that's it, would you do it? What would we gain in clarity, and what history, what beautiful little quirks might we lose forever? Something to chew on. Thanks for joining me on the tour.